Hello and welcome to the Final Phoenix podcast. Your host, Laura Perry, here. And with me today, I have Victor Scamardo, who is the host of the TruthWave Energy Meditation. And I'm really excited to have Victor here today because, we talk about energy, we feel energy, we experience the energy, and we've heard that everything is energy. So he's going to educate us a little bit, and we're going to talk about what he does and learn about Victor. So, hey, Victor, why don't you just take a moment and introduce yourself?
Certainly, Laura, I am so happy to be here on the Final Phoenix podcast. Thank you so much for reaching out. And it's it's so very important, of course, to me and well, to bring this information out and show people what is all around us. Real quick, my name, like you said, is Victor, and I'm the host and co-creator of the TruthWave Energy podcast or Energy Meditation. And what this does basically is we show people and we train people because it's a practice like any other form of meditation. We meet twice a day. Well, we do this meditation live on YouTube twice a day, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Central. And the whole point of this meditation is to, of course, give yourself an opportunity to be one with yourself. All right. But this is not a typical meditation in that aspect. We utilize the energies given to us by God slash the universe, whatever your interpretation of that is. And we teach people how to utilize energy instead of being subjected to all the energy that hits them throughout the day. Because we have it in many different ways. You know, we get it from media, we get it from the radio, we get it from the TV, we get it from other people. More importantly, we get it from other people. So what we do is we help people, excuse me, learn how to utilize this energy and in this practice, you start to recognize whenever you're getting energy that you don't want to deal with. And so it's very empowering on that level in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Oh,
and what are some of the benefits of understanding what you
well,
teach and what you're guiding?
certainly, certainly. Some of the benefits is we store energy in our sacral chakra at the end of every meditation. And that may sound a bit woo-woo to people, but once you have the realization that energy is real, energy is it it doesn't require you to be next to someone to feel someone's energy. Or yeah, we energy is has no limit to the in distance. Okay, it's all around us. And it's all around you right now. Ether energy is all around you. You can go out and stand on the planet, go out and stand in the grass and get that wonderful grounded energy as well. And it is all around us. And when people realize that energy is real, they can utilize this energy to supercharge their life. If you don't feel like working out, you know what I do every morning when I work out, I pull some ether energy. It's right there. I just pull it and infuse my body with it. And this, I know it does sound a little woo woo, especially to people that are not in the know about energy, but it is there for us to utilize straight up.
Wow. So it sounds like if you're tired or if you just need extra energy to get you through your day, you
Mhm.
teach people kind of how to pull it in and then utilize it to their benefit.
That's true. That's right. We also have an emphasis on, we basically in this meditation, we have 6 nodes, and people can go and sit in these nodes if they resonate with that particular nodal energy. And I'll just cap them off real quick. We have Father Sky, which is ether energy. That's that celestial ether. We have Mother Gaia. This is a node that you hold during the meditation, and that deals with the grounded earth energy. And then we have our horizontal choices, and these are all wrapped around a golden pyramid. So we build this thought form during the meditation, and those are truth, peace, and joy. Okay, so what we ask people, hey, when you get up in the morning, Laura, you had this decision this morning. You're always in a constant state. Excuse me. You're always in a constant state of making decisions. Oh, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about this? And doing this energy work, I'm going to ask people, hey, when you get up in the morning, set your intention for yourself. I want to be in love today. I want to have a joyous day. I want to be at peace. And I'm going to live my self-full truth today. I'm going to walk my talk. And we also emphasize that as well. And
Yeah.
there's also go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You said there's
There's
also.
there's also a third aspect. And during this meditation, we cleanse ourselves and we get in all this good energy and have it flow through us. All right. And we heal ourselves. And then the latter part of the meditation is we send love, peace, and joy out, this beautiful intention out to the planet. We do it 3 times. I'm kind of into numerology. So and we do it 3 times, and then we renew that energy at the next meditation. So we're not just taking this for ourselves, we're turning around and utilizing this energy for everyone else, for all the flora and fauna on the
Yeah.
planet and all the beings.
I
And that
love that.
includes you. And
Yeah,
that
I
includes
love
you and
that.
every one of you listening.
I love that, Victor. So it sounds like you not only teach people how to access this energy, this ether energy, um, but you also, I know that you talked about cleansing. Will you talk a little bit
Mhm.
about transmuting energy? I know that you mentioned that previously in a conversation about how you can help people understand how they can take something that maybe feels negative and turn it around.
Certainly, certainly. We are in charge of our reaction to any given situation. And that's a lot of self right there. That's a lot of understanding just in that statement. That's a lot. Okay. That's a lot to deal with. And some people are at different levels, just like on our religious or spiritual journey, we are at different levels. All of us are. And there's no right or wrong. But when you have a negative or deemed negative energy hit you, you decide right then, I'm not going to experience that. I felt it, enough of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept that. Sure, I'll feel that energy, but what I'm going to do is send my energy back to it. I'm going to change it. I'm not going to experience it. So it's having this mindfulness. So in a way, you transmute it by saying, no, I don't want to feel that. I'm going to turn that into love. I'm going to feel positive about that situation, right? You don't have to be jumping for joy if you just see a car wreck. Well, that's probably not a good example. The best example is somebody toxic coming into your workspace or coming into your room or dealing with somebody at the grocery store whose energy is bad. It's just you don't nothing against the person. They may be the nicest, they may be your pastor or they may be a priest, whomever, but they could still be holding on to bad energy. And
Mm.
and and the deal is you choose, and that's how you transmute it. Because all this energy around us right now, this ether energy is neutral. But right now I'm gonna put make a loving space for myself. I'm gonna exude love, peace, and joy. And it really comes down to your choice in minding your mind throughout the day. And yeah, it takes a little bit of practice. But once you get in this rhythm of minding your mind, you become very aware of what you put into your mind. Now it's like, no, I don't want to hear any politics. I don't want to hear, and a lot of people, I gave up politics years ago, and I used to be, it was up to my eyeballs in it. But see, that's the way the politicians and the system want you to work. That's how you're manipulated. You're manipulated by watching specific channels and listening to certain types of music. Well, it comes down to a choice. And if that stuff is really not serving you, hey, get rid of it. Get
Yeah,
rid of it.
that, what I love about that, Victor, is that, we do get to utilize our free will to take something that is essentially neutral and we assign
Mhm.
meaning to it. And maybe we're just so used to it being negative that we don't notice that we have the power to turn that around. And we do have the power. That's one of the things
We
I love
do.
about what you're doing. It's like we have the power and you're showing people not only that they have it, but how to use it, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
love.
We also get into, some people, I feel energy in my hands. Okay. That's the way I learned. All right. That's the way I learned how to feel it. And I'll never forget the day I felt it for the first time. And I learned it by sitting and opening my palms and focusing on receiving this energy and feeling it. There's another way too. And a lot of artists use that way where they clap their hands together, get some friction going, and then pull it out like this. And you do this enough times per day, and you will feel that energy ball. It's a chi ball, I believe, is the term. But see, that's another way to get in touch with your energy. Anything that you can do to open this up in yourself makes it far easier to utilize all the energy around you.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. And so I want to talk about a little bit about the meditation that you offer, and we'll probably mention it a few times here because I
Mhm.
feel like it's so powerful. But I love that you can invite individuals and to sit as what you call like a node. And I want to make sure that we're understanding what the node is. And it's essentially like an energy, like a positive energy channel, essentially that they are
Mhm.
holding as like a co-creator of the space that you've opened. So they can sit in that space and kind of hold the energy of love or joy or Mother Earth or Father Sky and the other nodes that you have, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I don't force anybody, I never force my energy on anyone. I simply make it available. And people come on the show. We have people. So there's two aspects of being involved. You can come on live and have your video, like I mentioned to you, and our mutual friend Victoria has done this a number of. She's done it twice. She comes on and she's actually on in the actual video holding the node, and we chit chat a little bit and things like that. So I can have up to 6 people on the show simultaneously with me because there are 6 nodes. Technically there's 7, but we really only talk about 6. The 7th node is the unity node. That's our unity consciousness, because that's what we're building to each time we come together in this meditation. And so that strengthens, but see, that's another form of energy that you can tap into. And there's something very profound about this. When you come on and you start doing this practice with us on a regular basis, you realize, you come to this wonderful realization that you're never alone. You are never alone, because energetically we are so, some people say the DNA, our DNA, I'll get back to the nodes, I haven't forgotten, but some people say our DNA is what percentage, almost all the same on the planet. And there's only a little bit that differentiates us from other animals, from mammals. What's interesting is, in this energy work I've been doing daily for the last 6 months, well, since March, well, that's a whole nother story too, but we can get to that later. The what I've realized is most of our energy, like our energy, Laura, is very similar. It is, I'm going to say it's like 99.5% similar. Most people's energy is the same, but it's that 0.5% that makes us who we are. Okay, that's like our energetic signature. And there's some famous words I've quoted a few times. What's Maya Angelou saying? We are more alike than unalike. And when you start getting into this energy work, you realize, oh my God, we are more alike. We are, and it's like that day whenever you figure out, oh my God, energy is real. It's like having that realization, and you're like, wow. So it makes it 100 times easier to deal with your fellow humans when you start having these realizations about all these gifts all around us. Well, let me get back to the nodes. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah, no,
rabbit
that's
holed
okay.
there.
No, no, I love that. It actually
I,
just, I'll just say on a side note, um, I like that you mentioned that, because society oftentimes, they just, in my opinion, we're shown to look at all of our differences constantly, and such a
mhm,
big distraction that at the end of the day, we are looking at how we're different from people. And if we paid attention more to how we are all the same, that's what that's one of the things that I saw in my journey that showed me like that unity. It's like, wow, we are so similar.
mhm,
So many of
mhm.
us. I mean, all of us are, but in our own ways. So yeah, yeah. Go ahead and if you, yeah, please tell us more about the nodes that
I
you.
want to touch on one thing too. There's one thing I'm very adamant about on my show, on the meditation. I shouldn't call it my show because it's kind of everyone's experience. But I never discuss politics. I don't embrace any isms, even in my personal life. I don't embrace any isms because, say you and I decide, hey, whatever we're going to call it, the first thought group. Okay. And you have to be this, and this, and this. And so many groups out there have these wonderful intentions. But they say, well, if you don't believe in everything we believe in, then you're a racist or you're a hater and this and that. And it's kind of sad because we're at that state right now where people are waking up and saying, okay, well, I'm not going to support that group anymore, even though it sounds like it's good in name. But when it really comes down to it, there might be scammers behind it, this and that. So this kind of breaks through all of it, because energy, my friend, never lies. Energy will always tell. You can always feel someone's energy. And that's another benefit that I overlooked earlier. Energy never lies. So if someone's sitting there trying to tell you, they're saying one thing and you're feeling something completely different, that's that gut feeling you get. Well, that's your energy telling you, no, they're not being truthful with you. It's like when you start developing these gifts and you're speaking your truth. My hands are on fire right now because I'm speaking my truth. All right. I'm in my zone. I'm in my flow, and my hands are on fire right now with energy. So that's another benefit. But let me get back to the nodes.
Yeah, yeah.
The 6 nodes, we have 3 choice nodes, which are joy, peace, and truth, because those are your choices you wake up with. You, anytime throughout your day, even while well, not while you're sleeping, but while you're awake, you have that opportunity to be in those states. You can be in a state of joy, peace, and love. Unless you're living in a war zone or something like that, you really don't. You can give yourself tons of excuses. Oh, my job is terrible, and yeah, I work hard. Hey, I've worked hard as a laborer and managed to stay in my peace and my joy and my love and my truth. I've done it. So if I can do it, then by all means, everyone can do it. So if you're going to limit yourself, then all that is limit. You're only holding yourself back if you don't embrace the opportunities right there in front of you. It comes down to that. So that's why they're choice nodes. And something I need to clarify. This is a journey. Whenever we have this meditation, I build a thought form in your head. We talk about seeing the earth beneath us. And then we talk about seeing this three-sided golden pyramid in front of us. And at each point, those 3 points on that pyramid, there's a node. 3 points on the pyramid are joy, peace, and truth. And within the pyramid, I have to do my hands because I always do my hands during the meditation. Within the pyramid is love. That's the love node. Up above the pyramid is Father Sky. Down on the surface of the planet is Mother Gaia. That's the Mother Gaia node with their feet firmly planted in the soil. So we have the 6 nodes now. And so what we do is we focus our intention, our nodal intention. Okay. We focus that into the golden pyramid, and people on the love node focus, they take all of this, wrap it in love, and send it up to the top of the golden pyramid where there's a diamond pyramid. And remember, this is a mental journey that we're going on. So you're building this thought form every time we do this. Every 12 hours we do this, and uh, and we charge that, and then we push all that energy down over the planet in a wave of truth, if you will, truth wave. See?
Yeah.
And on the third and final push that we do in each meditation, we let it linger. We actually have a process where we leave a trail of this energy. So it's basically right now from our meditation a couple hours ago, we have enveloped the entire planet in our loving, peace-filled, joyous energy. Okay, wrapped in unity and calm, so on and so forth. We add a lot to it, but that's out there right now. It's all around you. It's all around me. And because we put this intention out, Also knowing that thousands of people, seekers, somebody's waking up right now, and this is the beauty of it, Laura. Somebody's waking up right now and saying, they want some change, or they're feeling joy. Think about somebody feeling joy for the very first time, and they're brought to tears. We get to help facilitate that. So if you want to talk about karma, hey, that's the karma train right there. That's good karma right there that you're giving. So we're being selfful to ourselves because we're utilizing this energy to cleanse ourselves and heal ourselves, but also we're turning around and giving the best gift to the planet, to everything on the planet, everyone, everything.
I love
And
that. Well, so I just
that's
wanted to ask you if someone wanted to hold, join in and hold one of the nodes, do they contact you, or do they show up? Like, how would you recommend, if someone said, "Hey, I want to go and I want to hold one of these places on the video," how do they reach out to you?
They can email me at onetruthwave@gmail.com. It's real easy. And probably the best thing to do is come and participate and chat. Our chat is pretty lively. We have a good community. It's small right now, but it's growing. It's a growing community. And come in the chat and say, "Hey, I'd like to be on this node tonight." And that way I write it down. And so I mention everyone's names that are on the nodes. And right now it's pretty manageable. It's pretty
Mm.
manageable. And we have a really regular crew, at least on the evening meditation, because the morning we literally just had our second one this morning. So
That's
this
awesome.
AM, I should say, and come in and experience it. And I'll tell you what, some people, how you watch YouTube channels, like people right now listening to us, they probably have us on, they're cooking dinner or something and listening either in their earbuds or they have it on their iPad or TV in their kitchen, something like that. You listen passively. I highly suggest, yeah, listen passively while I'm doing my monologue. I do a little monologue up to the meditation. The meditation is always at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.
And
sharp,
that's
like we
Central Time,
Central.
right? Okay.
Yeah, or Chicago time, if you want to say it that way.
Okay. And how long are the meditations in the morning and
About
evening?
11 minutes.
Okay. So it's like a short power punch, I like to call it, right? You don't have to
Right.
spend a lot of time in order to show up and change your energy and the way that you show up in the world and affect the planet,
That's right.
essentially,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, I love that. And so your email address, just to repeat that, is the number one truthwave@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
And yeah, and your if it, so you can participate, I understand, as a node, but you're recommending like, hey, just jump in on the YouTube live and experience it and jump into the chat, and that's another really good way. So you can have as many people as you want jump in to actually experience this, right? There's no limit.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Because we may have 30 people on the love node, or that seems to be a real popular one. But then we'll have 5 people on the truth and 18 on the joy. And Mother Gaia is another popular one as well. And something something I need to mention, excuse me, is Mother Gaia and Father Sky nodes are not excuse me. Those two nodes are not dependent on your biology. So if you're like you could come in and Father Sky resonates with you, you like that celestial ether energy. So in other words, it's not dependent on your human biology. You come in and whatever's resonating with you, you get on that node. You don't even have to tell me, just get on that node. And after
Mhm.
you come and experience this a couple times, we call it a practice because it is. You come and you might be like, well, I was on the truth node last night. Let me try another node, because you'll notice the energy is slightly different. And you'll also
Mhm.
notice that the more people that are present in the meditation, the energy is stronger. And this is something I've done 100 and something. We've done this 100 and something times in the evening. Now we have 100 and something, 105, 106 episodes out there on YouTube. And I've noticed over time, the more people that come, and I remind you through the meditation, hey, be present in this moment. Just feel the majesty of this moment. You have all this love, peace, and joy. Feel this moment, this wonderful energy coming through you. Just absorb it and be present. And it's like, I'm very present with you right now, and you're very present with me. It's a beautiful moment because we're being present with each other, with another human, with another being. And we're not sitting here just passively, you're not like some DJ taking my music order as it used to be many years ago when you could call into radio stations and take requests. You're actively listening to me. So I remind people through the meditation, be very present with this energy and feel it and experience this. And that's where the change comes about, because this is not a meditation that you leave all worn out. Have you ever meditated and you're like, oh God, that was a lot, or that's oh geez, that was a lot, and I feel exhausted now? Well, that's the way I used to feel when I first got
Mhm.
on this train, and then
Mhm.
what we can talk about how it came to me.
Yeah, and I do want to get into that. I do want to ask you some more questions. So, but I just want to say, I feel like what you're doing is so powerful because people are waking up to the realization that everything is energy and that they do have an
Hmm.
ability to change, negative. We do get to choose. Like every situation even is neutral. We are the ones that are assigning meaning to that. So I like that you're helping them notice their superpower and then utilize their superpower to transmute that energy, but
Hmm.
also um it teaches us how to listen to ourselves. And I love that you said if someone is feeling something off, right? Like how many years have we lived, and did it take for us to realize like, oh, I should have listened to my gut, or oh, I should have, like, we have this communication system built into us, and I feel like a lot of us have been taught to ignore it, and a lot
Hmm.
of
We
us
have.
luckily haven't been, but we're waking up to like, oh, I need that part of me so that I can live my best life. And I love that you're doing that.
And to your point there, we are the sum of all of our experiences deemed both positive and negative. And think about that for a moment. Let's see, what's a good positive? Oh, I just want a new car. Okay, I want a new car. Who doesn't want to win a new car outside of the tax issue? That's a whole nother ball of wax, but that I don't want to deal with. So we got our new car, and it happens to be it's got some pep to it. So what we do is we go out, and guess what? We just got a $800 speeding ticket that we're gonna have to have to go get a loan to pay. All right. So that deemed positive event just turned into a negative event. But it's also, if that negative event happens, you get that speeding ticket, how you approach it. How you approach it is very important. You see, is you could, oh, this is the end of the world. I just got a speeding ticket. Okay, you can take that approach, which I would say no, don't do that. Or you can say, okay, that was a very good lesson for me. I am not going to speed again. I'm going to take a hit on my insurance for a year or whatever, and then go take it as a learning. So what we did, we just transformed it into something positive for ourselves. And that's very important as well. That's a very important way to look at things. We have this thing too. So say I had a traumatic event in my past, okay, and you can also ask, now this is getting that self-realization. There's a lot of that combined and wrapped into this. Is we have this thing too, and I'm not a psychiatrist, and actually I managed to get through college without one psychology class. Imagine that. I don't know how that happened, but is if you have a traumatic event and you feel a certain way, we focus on why. So you can do this right now, Laura. If you have, is just ask yourself, why do I feel that way? And then leave it alone. Okay. It's like passive meditation when you're sitting in your own home and you've got the incense going and you're like, and you're trying to calm your mind. Well, if you try, guess what? You try to calm your mind. A lot of times it won't happen. You just do it. There's no try. Let's go back to Yoda. Everyone knows who Yoda is. There's no try. Just do it. Just calm your mind. So when we ask why do I feel that way? All right. And then leave it alone. And guess what? We just changed the state of that feeling
Mm.
from being that deemed bad experience or traumatic experience. And then we just wrote why on it. Why do I feel that way? And now the state of that experience has changed. All we have to do is put why in front of it. Do you understand where
Yeah.
I'm going with this? Because now it's in the why state. Why do I feel that way instead of I feel this way? This trauma
Yeah,
makes me feel this way.
yeah, it reminds me of, we're declaring. It's like, well, like
Mhm.
there's a few things that come to mind. One is that the universe will always say okay. So whatever we say, like I feel bad, the universe says okay. If you say I feel good, universe says okay, and it takes your reality and it transforms that around you.
Mhm.
And so what that shows me is that we all have the power to say, why I think the word why helps us shine our awareness onto it. And then once we're like, I think quantum physics, actually, physics has just proven that once the awareness is on something, then it changes the state of it. So just showing yourself that you're looking at it changes it automatically. So,
Schrodinger's cat.
yeah, yeah,
Schrodinger's cat. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I
They should
love
have
that.
used a dog, but
Yeah, well,
that
cats
poor
are
cat.
funny. Yeah. He's a famous cat now.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
Yeah. So I also wanted to mention something that I heard, and it was that every problem that we perceive in our life is a gift from ourselves as an opportunity to change the way that we're thinking about something. And that was deeply impactful for me too. I was like, oh, okay, every problem is a gift. And I'm like, okay, like once you wrap your mind around the
Mhm.
fact that you have the power to think whatever you want about anything, it's like, whoa, I've been making up this whole reality. Let me just change that into something new. So,
I agree wholeheartedly with that because it's so many things are changing right now on our planet, and we're at the cusp. We're at the cusp of we're at the cusp of something great about to happen because more people, more and more, are opening their eyes, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. There's it's like a wave, a wave of energy. It's a wave of change coming about because you look all around, even in our country, so many things are about to change. So many things are
mhm.
changing. And if I'm going to jump off a little bit, and this shouldn't get political, I don't want to get political, but there are a lot of bad people out there. And a lot of them in very high places that get a lot of, they have a lot of followers and this and that. But there's a lot of people involved in some pretty nefarious stuff. And I'm not going to name any names. I think everyone probably knows certain people I'm talking about. But the great thing about this, even though it's horrid what these people are out there doing, but when that stuff collapses, think about just by collapsing that one group or organization, think about how that's going to increase the vibration of our planet. Just by taking out that sex trafficking or taking out that human trafficking, whatever it is, just one note of that gets knocked out, one piece of it, and our vibration is going to increase tremendously. And that's what we're on the wave of. We are just building and building. This is my feeling of the situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We're in the midst of a great awakening, as we all know, and people are waking up to the realization that they've been asleep and
Mhm.
now we've gone through this, I know, and those of us who've gone through the shadows of it and are stepping into the light from it. We see so much, and I kind of like to add in here too, like if this is something that you're going through, because a lot of people I feel like that will listen to this podcast are either in this awakening, they're looking to learn about energy, they're coming to
Mhm.
realizations. And some of the hardest moments of your life, that you may be in right now, they do get better, right? You
Oh,
do
they
get a
do.
different understanding of that, which is one of the things I want to ask you, Victor, is can you tell us a little bit about your reality, your awareness, your mindset before you stepped into energy work? Like, what did you do for a living? Who were you back? What version of you existed back then?
All right. I had my awakening per se. Okay. And some people call it finding God or being saved or whatever brings you on the light. I'm going to preface that a little bit because everyone, where there's many paths and we're all in the same goal. I believe that. And some faiths allow you to participate in this meditation. And what I'd like to say to all those faiths that are not allowed to meditate per se, I would like to say that, hey, this is a God given, this is supplied by the universe or God, however you want to, whatever your interpretation, it is there for your use. All right. And whether your scriptures or your holy books say otherwise, it is there. So in short, I'd like to say, hey, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Come try it at least once and be present. And think about, meditate, or pray on your experience. Okay, so my awakening happened in 2016, and I told you that I enjoy numerology and I look at numerology in a lot of ways. And if you don't know what numerology is, it's just real quick that you see significant numbers. And if you notice in my logo, I have a wave in my logo. I'm looking at it right now, and it's a Fibonacci wave. And a Fibonacci wave is a mathematical wave that has very significant numbers. I won't go into it too deep here, but I picked that not knowing what it was. I picked it because it resonated with me. So let's go back to 2016. Beforehand, I was a corporate tool. I was corporate, Joe corporate, and I used to travel a lot and lots of stress, great money, of course, and then I thought it is time to go. I need to branch out on my own. And I happened to run into somebody that I hadn't seen in many years and reached out to her. And she was living out in Arizona. I went out and visited her. And this is an ex-girlfriend. And this is our third time. This was our third time crossing paths. And we never really got to have time or the opportunity to really get to know one another. And I went out and visited her, and she took me, of all places, to Sedona, Arizona. And then it all started coming. I was drinking from a fire hose. And that's where it started in 2016. That's the first time I ever experienced energy. And it was a catalyst. And our teachers, what's interesting about that is our teachers come, what's the saying? The guru will show up whenever
The
the
student is
student is
ready.
ready. Yes.
Hmm.
So the interesting thing about that is I was gurued for sure. It was just, I couldn't believe that all this was around me and I couldn't, it's just like bang, 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 so many things hitting me. And that started what? So that's 8 years ago. And I can't say it's all been a bed of roses because sometimes, learning more about the universe and about ourselves, it takes effort. And some days you're going to, back in those days, I would get wiped out by doing any energy work. And now I look back and I thought, it's kind of funny, in a way, because I'm like, oh yeah, I don't look down on myself, but knowing this energy is available. And now, I said something about meeting in Sedona. I think we talked about that too.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that to someone in one of my spiritual organizations that I'm part of, and this lady came back and said, "Oh well, you never know. It's a mixed bag in Sedona, what you're going to get." Excuse me, because there's multiple vortexes. And I said, no, I'm not going to be subjected to it. So when my group goes out there to meet anyone from TruthWave that participates, and if we meet in Sedona, guess what? We've already harnessed the energy from Sedona. We know what it feels like. So we're not subjected to it any longer. You see, because you have the first. Hey, I don't know if you've been to Sedona or not, but usually someone's first trip, sometimes they get wiped out. I got wiped out. I was one of those. I spent my second day there in bed, just like lethargic.
Wow, just recovering.
Yes, just
Wow.
because all the energy. But the thing is, I was open to it. See, I was open to having this experience. And so I did. But guess what? I left there with a gift of being able to feel energy. And look
That's
where I am now.
amazing. That's
You know,
amazing.
so
So what was the transition for you? What would you say, um, was there a key experience? I'll start here. Was there a key experience that led you to where you are today that was just like the catalyst, or was it more slow for you?
I would say 2013 was probably the catalyst, the catalyst there because I'd just gone. This is getting a little personal, but hey, it's not like I haven't said it before in any medium, but I went through a terrible divorce in 2011, and I wouldn't say it was terrible in the sense of legal terrible. It was terrible because it tore up my family and it
Mm,
tore me up, and I had to do something I didn't want to do. Okay, I had to do it for myself, and that's the unfortunate thing. But unfortunately, I didn't have any tools to deal with that, and I found those tools in 2013 after drinking for about 2 years. I'm not even a drinker. I wasn't even a drinker beforehand, but I had to find. I was numbing myself, so I started numbing myself, and eventually I ended up in 3 weeks in a place to just dry out. And I came out of this with the first time of taking a hard examination. That's part of the 12 steps is taking that hard look at yourself and doing an inventory and things like that. And I am so blessed. I'm so full of gratitude that I came out of that without a physical addiction to it.
mm,
I did not have, and I am thankful to this day that I came out of it because I've seen so many people with physical addictions to drugs and alcohol, and it just my heart just goes out to them because I've seen them. And I used to think back then, I was like, oh, if I just had a magic wand that I could just go boom and take their addiction away, I would use it. On the other hand, the experience of that of really digging into myself, that was probably so that was 2013, so that would kind of prepped me for it. And as I continued to go down that path, I was starting to understand spirituality and more about myself. And so 3 years later, I just had enough of corporate. And great company, I can't knock it, worked with primarily great people, but it was not serving me. You see, it was not.
mm,
And so after that, I went to various businesses, started this and that. And I used to have a fitness business that I closed down right before COVID kicked off. So that's basically to me, that was the universe saying, hey, this is not your path. You see, had a morning fitness show live every morning. And it was gaining some traction. If I would just waited a month, guess what? It would have probably gone through the roof because many people were stuck at home. That being said, I look at it the universe or God saying, hey, no, this is not the right path because I literally closed it, stopped it, took another job managing
mm,
a local business, a local company. And and so there we go. Back this comes full circle now. Deemed bad, deemed positive, or deemed negative. What is that? Is it deemed positive or is it a deemed negative experience? So in a way, it
mm,
was kind of a negative experience because I stepped out of what was I thought was feeding me at the time, and it was, and to a more secure back to another job, another 9 to 5. And so I guess that's what I needed at the time. So I can say, let me just sum this up real quick. It's been I like to say that our journey is like this. We hit higher highs and then we hit a higher low. We hit a higher high. So it's like a roller coaster, but you're going to hit that high and then you may experience a low. But I think as you get higher, then your lows are a little bit shallow. And
mm,
because you gain these tools, but
mm,
there's a space in there where you'll get wiped out. And I had a big 4 months ago, I hadn't had one of these in years, in a couple of years, but I had a big, huge day of just dealing with a lot of stuff. All right. And those days will happen. And all I can say is just be strong, trust in the universe, trust in God, trust in spirit guides, however you look at it, is just keep the faith because that's what this comes down to is faith. You see,
yeah.
it's faith that the universe is working to your advantage. It's working for you. All you have to do is just kind of guide it. You just say, hey, and that's where this energy work comes in. You see how it kind of comes full
Mhm.
circle?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you step into your power and then you're like, "Oh, I can do this in a different way."
Hmm.
But I like that you shared your story because I feel like so many of us can relate that it was some kind of circumstance that we looked at as negative, and we didn't know how to deal with it because we weren't taught, how to deal with challenging situations. If anything, we were taught from society that it was just terrible if a relationship or a marriage or something fell apart, right? But in
Hmm.
reality, it's those relationships that trigger us to wake up. And I know that was one of my triggers to wake up and look at myself and heal myself was a relationship too. So it's really interesting that that's probably going to be what some people are experiencing is some kind of tragic or negative appearing circumstance that they can't control
Hmm.
because it's one of the entry points to them learning how to control yourselves. And you're kind of guiding them like when they're ready for you, you're like, hey, you do have this power. Hey, you can feel this energy. You can work with this energy. You can transmute these things.
Yes,
So I wouldn't be surprised if people are like, I'm going through that right now, and giving them hope that it's going to get better because it does, right?
it does.
We've all had our own little experience. And I agree with you. The lows do still get low, but eventually it's like we're moving up as they go up and down, right?
Hmm.
So I love that you
Right.
said
Yeah.
that
So
because I
it's,
agree. That's been my experience too.
and you think about it too, is really it's up to you, Laura. It's up to you. If you hit one of those lows, it's up to you how you deal with it. You can it could that low could last 2 hours, 2 days, 2 years. Hopefully not 2 years. But the thing is, you can be in that state, and it may take some time. And you just process it and use your tools, use what you've learned. And understand too. Talking about relationships, that guru of mine, that relationship of mine ended suddenly. It lasted about 3 years, and it ended very suddenly. And I was gone, haven't seen her, talked to her since. And it's just one of those things because it was like it was over. And it's almost like when the student is ready, the student will depart. When there's not much, there's not anything else to learn from them because every exchange we have in that the novice or the guru, anytime you have an exchange like that, the guru is going to be reminded of something that they've forgotten because the novice is going to ask them. So it's always a wonderful exchange of knowledge. The guru is always going to learn from that novice, and the novice is going to learn from that guru. But at some time, that novice is going to say, "Okay, I need to go to another guru." And that's basically kind of what it. And it's nothing against her by any means, because I am grateful for that relationship, as interesting and as knowledge filled that it was. I am grateful for that experience. I had so many experiences that just changed my life while I was in that. So
Yeah, and no, I agree with you. The teacher is always the student, and the student is always the teacher. And
yes.
I have transformed through many different teachers, and they hold an energy, I feel like, for a certain collective, and the
Hmm.
collective can learn from them, and then we kind of move on to the next lesson. It feels like the next energy that we want to learn from, essentially. So it's a path, it's a journey, and it all makes perfect sense in hindsight, right? But when you're in something when you're a seeker or when you're learning or when you're
Hmm.
going through something challenging, especially if you don't understand it, it can be a little overwhelming. But in the end, I know it all makes sense.
And I'd like to add something too, is this is this energy work we do. All right. This is not something I learned in a book. And I think you're going to get to that question, but I want to point out something is we don't have a lot of Reiki masters, oddly enough, because I believe you're one, correct?
I'm not actually.
Oh, you're
No,
not. Okay.
I study energy work, but more of like energy healing work. I am a certified healer, if that makes sense, but
Okay.
I just don't utilize the skill or the training.
Well, and it's nothing against Reiki. And I actually had a Reiki master, I think is a mutual friend of ours, point this out to me or mention it, is uh, Reiki has its niche. All right. It has its niche, however you want to pronounce it. But Reiki is very specific about following this path and following this and doing this to heal people. And I love it. I've had Reiki done to me numerous times, and I've tried it with people. And I like to use this little symbol, the energy symbol, all the time. I use it 100 times a day. And shokiri. I had to throw that in since I did the symbol. But the deal is that it's not the same. So Reiki is very confined. and I'm not saying it has its place, but it's very meat and potatoes because you do it this way, and this. It's very regimented, I should say.
Mhm.
Well, I look at us and what we do at TruthWave. We are like the way showers. We are prepping ourselves to do this work and keep doing it and keep doing it and help our planet. We're out there doing and uh, we are making our effort to lift the vibration and show people we're opening eyes. And that's why some Reiki masters, it just doesn't vibe with them, because it's kind of like making a mistake when you get on the path that everyone, even a religious path, that everyone on the religious path is some kind of saint when they're at home. Well, maybe they're only a saint when they're in church, but it's like assuming because somebody's spiritual or they're a tarot reader or a Reiki master that they're spiritual and have this desire and ability to do energy work. And, it's not just does not resonate with some people. And to those people, I ask you to come give it a chance, come give it a try, because you may be very surprised.
Yeah, because it's an experience, right? Everything, every energy, every
Yeah.
person is an experience, and you really don't know unless you try something and see if it resonates. So I like that. So another question I'd like to ask you is, and I can't really say, and I know you did touch upon this a little bit, and I can't say that any of my listeners are going to be like energy is woo woo or energy is
Mm-mm.
strange or like this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want any part of this. But I know that somebody listening might feel that way
Mhm.
because we're all on a learning journey, right? Our eyes are starting to open. But can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, is this real from your perspective and your experience and what you experience on a daily basis?
Is this is the which can you define your question a little bit more? Is what part of it real?
Just the energy, vibration.
Mm.
I would just like you to elaborate a little bit for someone who is saying this is woo woo. This doesn't make any sense. I don't want to learn anymore. What education would you give them around the experience, if that is a thought that's going through their mind?
And so this would actually be someone, it's probably not one of your typical listeners. I'll give you that, because most people listening to this type of content or my content, or I don't even really call it content, it's more like information, is that the best thing to do is go into it with an open mind. And you see this all over meditation channels on Facebook and so on and so forth. Someone, well, they'll be like, I can't do this in my meditation. And you have 15 gurus saying, oh, dude, try mine, try mine, try mine, try mine. Everybody has a different, there's thousands of paths or millions of paths to get to find enlightenment. And we all know that the first step in enlightenment is realizing you're not enlightened. And once you have that realization, then it's like, oh, okay. But if someone's having issues, if you're interested in energy work, all you have to do is expose yourself to different things. Just take an inventory of your day. How do I feel then? And just do it for one day. And this is not my original thought. I know there's other people out there, but okay, take an inventory. If you're an office worker, just keep a little sheet of paper or a private book and put 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. on it. And how do they feel? How do they feel in this experience? And how do they feel that? Oh, I know that that guy is a serial dater of women in the office. So did I judge him or did I get a certain energy from him? And start examining all your relationships like that. Because your mom may come over and say, or have dinner with her, and she's sitting here saying, "Oh, you're lovely, and you're this, and you're that," and fawning over you, but what you're feeling from her is something completely different. So now you're starting to make progress. You're starting to feel, you're understanding the energy because she's saying one thing to you, and but she feels completely different. And everyone has had this experience. But take this log, just write it down and start becoming aware, cognizant of all your interactions. Yeah, it takes a little bit of effort, but what that's doing is that's transforming the way you interact with people. You see, it's so that's a step as well, because you're transforming instead of just saying, "Oh, hey, Kathy, in the office, whatever." Yeah, hey, you're you're like putting a little bit more meaning into your interaction. You're present, and being present is another step. So, and there's a whole bunch of little steps, but don't think it's like overwhelming. The first thing to do is open your mind, be curious about it, and start making an effort in being present in any situation. Just what, when we drive, when we commute, that's a real easy time to check out. And here's another thing you can do. Somebody cuts you off. Yeah, you might want to give them a finger. But the best thing you can do, at least in my book, you know what I do? Is I send them love. Hey, yeah, I don't know their story. I don't know what they may have just lost a pet or lost a human, or they may have just got fired from their job. Maybe they just drive aggressively. But hey, that's their path. And karma will deal whatever they need to get. Is just send them love. Somebody gets upset driving. A lot of people do. Hey, this is the best thing. Quick story. I used to work out with one of my buddies every morning on Messenger. Excuse me. This was last year. I told him this. I said, hey, next time you're driving, because he would just be irate, just driving to the store. He would be fed up, fit to be tied, as they say in some areas of our country. And I was like, wow, why? Why are you acting that? Next time somebody cuts you off, just let it go, man. There's no harm, no foul, no skin involved. Just let them go. Let them go get their ticket or whatever, or their accident, whatever their destiny brings them. And I think 3 weeks later, he picked one of his daughters up who came home from college. He picked her up at the airport and they were driving back and got to the house. And she's like dumbfounded looking at him. And she's like, who are you and what'd you do with my dad? She immediately noticed his energy change because he changed the way he drives and the way he approached it. And I think it's a lot of these little things that can get you on the path. If you're out there listening and you're curious about this, listen, follow Laura's content, come to my content, and just expose yourself. And the things that resonate with you will start to fall into place. Just like the websites. I used to listen to certain people religiously, and then I kind of outgrew them. My energy started going elsewhere, and they're still out there doing their same thing. And you made that point about 5 minutes ago. They're still out there doing their same thing, and I don't wish anything I wish them the best, but they're just no longer relevant to me
Mm-hmm.
because their
Yeah.
message is not resonating with me any longer.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're doing.
Yeah, and that's just part of that energy that we feel that resonates. And I wanted to say that about your kind of road rage story. I mean, I
Mhm.
know someone in my life who has always been mad when they get in the car. They're pretty okay other than that because they've been conditioned to be, negative and just
Sure.
pissed off or whatever on the road. And I always used to shake my head at that. But I feel like we all have that thing that kind of like bothers us if somebody offends us or if someone yells at us or if someone triggers us in some way. I feel like the ultimate power there is to notice that they don't have to respond in that same way. Like I love when you said send them love if they cut you off. I'm generally pretty neutral about that stuff, but in a different situation, I maybe would have got upset about something else. So, if somebody is very rude to me, that's one of the things that I do. I just send them love because I'm like, oh, they must be going through something, challenging or they feel like I don't try to figure it out, but I feel like that's just the best thing that I can do. And I did notice in myself that just felt like I had ownership of my reality and my life when I get
Mhm.
to choose how I'm going to respond to something. So,
Oh, yeah, and see, that's a perfect example, Laura. That's so when somebody does something vile or nasty to you and you respond in kindness, that is like such a good, how can I say, it's like a gold star on your soul or on your being, your light body. That's a gold star, gold star, gold star. And yeah, your ego is saying one thing, no, go punch him in the freaking nose. I'm a trained mixed martial artist, and I used to react a lot differently to things. But now when I send them love, guess what? I just got a gold star.
mm,
Just got a gold star. I got a gold star, and those gold stars add up to the point that you get to the point where you don't even have to send people love if they cut you off. You don't even know, oh, that was
yeah.
unsafe. Let me slow down a little bit. You don't even see it because it's like, and that's where the veil is lifting because more and more of us are out there. And guess what? As more and more of us get up here, one candle lights 1,000. And as more of us start raising our vibration and dealing with life this way, then guess what? Fewer and fewer road rage things will be happening, and
Hmm.
they're going to find each other. The two road ragers out there out of 100 cars in a row, they're going to find each other and set and facilitate each other's energy because like
Yeah.
attracts like. And you're out there putting out this wonderful energy. How do you think we met? We met because of tea.
Mhm.
We met because
Yeah.
of tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Innocuous tea, yummy tea is how we met. Well, I think we may have been friends before that, but from a conference. But we really started interacting because of tea,
Yeah,
because of that
exactly.
catalyst.
I think every interaction is divine because it's that energy bringing people together, and I definitely feel that it's bringing the collective together to say, "Hey, let's just join hands and lift everybody up because that's what time it is."
Yes.
But But yeah, it is just and at the end of the day, I realize like I can be mad if I want to. Like that's a choice that we get to
Sure.
decide, right?
Yeah.
But I've just noticed that it's more pleasurable experience for me if I am neutral or higher in vibration, and emotion is energy and motion. So when we're deciding what to do with that energy, right, and how to play out that energy and how to respond to energy instead of reacting,
Hmm.
it, you become untouchable at that point because you're in your
You
power.
do.
It's like
You
nothing
do.
can phase you, right? And that's what I prefer, right? That's the reality I prefer to live in.
That's
Um,
a good one.
yeah, but I love that you said, when I asked you, like, what about people that think that this is too much for them or it's woo woo or it doesn't make sense? Because I feel like there's going to be somebody that is attracted to this podcast episode specifically because they're learning. And I loved the advice you gave, which was to just start looking at your own life and start taking notes and shine awareness on how you are affected, even by how your own energy feels. And a lot of
Hmm.
that is the emotion that we're going through, or if somebody feels off to us. So you basically said, like, look, you don't need me to prove this to you. You could prove it to yourself. Just start taking open your mind, look at it and maybe curiosity and wonder, and just start noticing for yourself, like this
Hmm.
energetic world that you're living in. Is that correct?
Indeed. Indeed. Yes. There's magic all around us. And I'm not trying to sound Disney-ish, but if you want to have magic in your life, create it, bring it. Oh, well, how do I do that, Victor? Hey, I'm creating a magical moment right now with you, Laura. We're having a magical moment. Look what I just did. I just created a magical moment. And guess what? Next time I mention a magical moment, you're going to think of this right now. You see, and it's up to you to create it. Oh, well, I've got all these problems. Well, those problems, your magical moment, don't care about those problems. Just create this magical moment. We're having a freaking beautiful moment together. Wow. I'm actually getting a little touched by that. Just what I'm saying. You see? So I'm having a wonderful physical, I'm having a wonderful emotional response from just saying those words. So have your magical moment. Say it right now. Say it out loud.
Have your
And
magical moment. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that. You feel the vibration raise. You feel the
indeed.
consciousness level
Yes.
raise, and I'm big speaking on consciousness. And one of the things I'll throw into this conversation is when depending on the level of consciousness that we're at, is dependent on the thoughts. So a level of consciousness is essentially like a magnet. So we'll pull in and experience thoughts that are coinciding with that consciousness level.
Mhm.
And so when we get up and we're talking about this magical life and these amazing experiences, I feel like the thoughts that we attract totally change in an instant because we just raised the consciousness and it's more positive, it's higher in frequency.
Thoughts become things. That's from The Secret.
Yep,
And that's
exactly.
something I exposed myself when I started this journey before I actually got on it. I was watching The Secret, watching The Secret. I watched it 3 or 4 times the first time, 3 times in a row, and just took notes, 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 and notes. And granted, I may not have followed all that stuff, but the thing is, so for the people that are on the fence and not knowing this, let's go back to that a little bit. The deal is that you will go through different phases. Like I went through a crystal phase, I went through the secret phase, I went through this, and I went through this, and it's just a growth. And some people, and look what I have in my hand right now.
And a
And
crystal.
I'm not even a big crystal person, but one of my friends, a good friend of mine, sent this from the Black Hills. And I keep that, and just I have three of them here. And of course, I'm going to share this with you. I keep this one with me,
No,
and I set
is that a heart-shaped crystal?
it is.
That's really
And
cool.
I set and spin these, and here's a lapis one. But I set and spin these as I do my show and as I work in my studio. I set and I have them, and it's just something that I do. Okay, I just set and have one of them in my hand. And other people have crystals, and it's like the car thing. If you can't, while you're trying to do that, hey, get a little something, a little piece of cloth, and put some patchouli oil or lavender or whatever resonates. Clove, that's a good one. Is put that on there and stick it in something in your car and just let your car smell freaking awesome and do little things. I like incense to help me get in a certain state. Do you use those things? They're all
Mhm.
out there. There's tons of things. Shoot, look, I clear our energy with this every night or every time we have a
Is that
session.
a sound
That's
bowl?
yeah, that's a singing bowl.
Oh,
Yes.
a singing bowl. Okay.
I just ding it. I don't make it sing. I just hit it with the mallet. But I clear our energy with that. So you have all these practices, and it just reinforces the state that you desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's almost like reminds me of like muscle memory,
Very good.
and it reminds me of almost like tapping as well, but also just attaching. a remembrance, a smell, a sight, a sound to
Mhm.
a feeling, which it helps us in the beginning, especially when we want to get into a certain state. And that's a good tip for those that are like miserable right now, like trying
Oh,
to get
certainly.
into a different experience, right?
Yeah, and the thing is try all these try the meditation. If it doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't resonate with you. I'm not saying my path is the only path to raising your vibration. There are thousands of modalities. And if mine doesn't resonate with you, that's fine and dandy. It's okay, because you might find you keep looking and you will find one. You'll find the right thing for you to help you. And you might be with me, you might come and hang out for a year with me, and then, all right, I need to go do something else. And
Mm-hmm.
the way is your spirit, your body, or your God will lead you to that new thing. You see, because I got here in a process. And do I have enough time to share that process
Yeah,
with?
yeah, yeah. Go for it.
Okay. Uh, a series of events. I'm into synchronicity as well. I have this thing that happens to me a lot is I'll be reading something and I'll have something on in the background, and I'll be reading and I'll hear the word the same time I read it. So I'll hear a word the same time I read it. I'm reading something, I'm reading a book, and I might have the radio on or a YouTube video, and I will hear it. And I did that twice over the weekend and wrote the words down. One of them was matrix, and the other was hover. But this has happened to me for the last year over and over and over. Every couple of days, I'll get this bang, bang, bang. It's synchronicity. I don't know what the big picture, I don't know what it means. But speaking of synchronicities, I met a lady in January in Walmart, and I won't get into the details of that, but she call her conspiracy chick, and I mean that in the most
Mm-hmm.
graceful way, and I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone. She opened my eyes. She started bringing all this conspiracy stuff that's going on, and a lot of it's coming true now, which is very interesting. But I didn't have that in my life outside of probably some UFO kind of stuff that it's passive interest. It's fun and it's interesting. But she brought this into my life. I was at her house having dinner one night, and she goes, "Hey, I want to show you this guy, big conspiracy guy on Rumble." And she showed me this video, and this guy started talking about storing data, having an app on your phone, and storing data in the ether. And I was like, "Well, what's the ether? I've heard passing things about it." And he was saying, "Oh yeah, ether energy is a cosmic state that's all around us, and we'll be able to store information and data in it." And I was like, kind of like, well, and it'll remember your meetings and stuff like that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, it'll have all this data, but it's your personal stuff because it's tied to your vibration. It's tied to your energy. So that's a place to store it." And it was completely foreign to me. And I was like, "Why is this conspiracy guy talking about this?" And 2 hours later, I'm laying in bed and I hear this loud. I get up, check on the cats because they were playing midnight run around the house because I heard a loud boom in my house, or just a loud sound. Everyone was fine. I got back in bed, laid there for about 15 seconds, and then I heard boom. And I was like, what the heck? And my head whipped back like this, and I felt pain in the back of my neck. I was like, what is going on? And then at the same time that happened, I had a vision. I saw this in my mind's eye of these two men in some kind of old, like wrappy clothing, looked like they were Egyptian maybe. And they are crafting, not hammer and chiseling, they are crafting a block. And they're doing it with sound and with their hands. And I'm watching them.
Wow.
And then I realized that my neck went back because I had a third eye event. I got some serious information. And a bunch of my friends said, "Oh, it's this or it's that." It could be ancient knowledge, whatever it was. The very next day, I started contacting people. I was just led. I was standing in my kitchen eating breakfast because I always stand and eat for some reason. And I'm, I'm like, I need to contact some people. I need to do something. And so I started contacting people and doing energetic handshakes with them. And what that means, I would send them energy and I'd send them a symbol. And so this is where my understanding, because I was given this gift. I was given this gift of, and this just all came to me. It's not like I just sat around and decided and wrote out a business plan. I'm going to do this and this and this. And so I started contacting people from our full-time purpose group where you and I became friends, and doing this energetic handshake. And I had some people's energy, I could feel it. It was almost like a barometer or like a thermostat. I could feel their energy and the amount of energy they were sending. And I would just text and say, "Hey, you want to do energetic handshake?" Explain to them what I was doing. I had one the main lady, her name is Radiance, who she washed over me. She's on my show almost every time. and she is actually on the show, meaning she's on the video portion of it. And her energy washed over me, and she told me exactly the symbol I sent to her.
Mm.
Exactly. When she and I were just about in touch as much as you and I were up until recently, you see.
Wow.
And she told me exactly what it was. And then I did it with another person from our group. And she was like, my guides are telling me, my guides are telling me. So people get this information in different ways. It's out there. It's just however you learned it or however you absorb it. But she got two of them. And I'm sitting here making symbols in the air. And she goes, oh, my guides are saying I was doing this, making a triangle. And she goes, oh, my guides are saying it's something pointy, it's an arrowhead. Oh no, it's a triangle. And I was just like, and
Wow.
having that understanding and realizing I just transmitted my thought form to someone else. And you're kind of like, you might be skeptical right now. You might be like, wow, that's a lot. Well, the thing is, it happened regardless of your belief in science or anything. It happened in my beliefs. I just did it. I did it twice. And another thing with that same conspiracy chick, first time we had a meal together, I had her hold out her hands because it's typical if you're going to exchange energy with people. You and I have done this. Or wait, no, I think, well, regardless, I held my hands out, nothing. All right. And 4 months later, she comes by and we're standing, I'm burning some brush in my backyard. And I said, hey, hold out your palms. And I put my hands over hers and her whole face lights up. And she's like, holy F, this is real. I was like, there you go. And
Yeah.
sometimes it just takes that experience. So when people are trying to learn this, do the energy ball like we talked about, rub your hands together, but try it with other people are trying to learn. Try to find somebody, if it's a spouse or a partner, whatever. Just try it with other people. And when you start getting on this and utilizing this energy, it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
But that's how this whole thing, I started interviewing these people, and then the meditation just came to me and came to me. And I have some co-creators, Tina, Jessica, Jennifer, and Christy were a huge part of this, of doing this meditation with me initially. And then finally I was like, I've got to go online with it. And it wasn't like I've set up, like I didn't do a business plan. This is just funneling to me
Hmm.
because I'm open to the experience. I'm open to what my purpose is, you see. And
Yeah.
it just took me a while in age to find it.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal story. I feel like every one of our stories is the same when it comes to the journey.
Mhm.
Every journey is different. There's an activation, there's, always confusion. It's essentially the story of the hero's journey, right? Like
Right.
we go through the entire stage or through every one of those stages, and then we oftentimes show up with the elixir at the end. And that's what's going to help other people. And that's if we're open to it, because spirit doesn't really know a business plan. And if spirit does know a business plan, then you're going to get that information, but it's beyond the intellect now. Like I always like to say, what we're working with isn't the ego, it's not the intellect, it's not something that we can figure out. We have to learn how to relax into the control that's already built into what it is we're here to do. And so I 100% agree with you. I could tell the same story in different ways it comes to us, but it's a
Mhm.
very, our gifts are all different too. So like your experience of energy is much different than mine, but we can articulate and come together as to what it is because we're using different words, we're using a different language, but it's all the same. Even with thoughts, I taught a course once about how thoughts are energy. Um, and that's just the way that one of the things that I loved to teach is like, what energy are you feeling right now? How do you feel? That's the
Oh,
thought that you're
yeah.
having, right? But yeah, do you want to say anything about that? And elaborate a little bit on any of that?
Really, I'll have to regurgitate what I said earlier. And some of that is energy never lies. And that goes back to what I spoke about is just examine,
Mm-hmm.
examine how certain situations make you feel. Hey, even how does your room make you feel? How does your living room make you feel? How does your bedroom make you feel? And it's not so much the way it's arranged or, oh, I need to get new furniture and nothing like that. And it's just, how does it make you feel? Is it enhancing your vibration? Is it relaxing? Is it austere and very clean and not comfortable, but it's visually appealing? You will start. I think I'm answering your question. You'll start to change things in your life and let things go. I used to be Joe, keep my lawn the best. I have the guy in my neighborhood that live. Of course, I live across the street from the guy that gets all the neighborhood lawn awards, and I was always
Mm,
keeping my lawn always, and I had to let that go and let that stress just go. And you ever hear of death by a thousand cuts?
yeah.
Well, it's enlightenment by a thousand releases. You
Mm,
start releasing things, and it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Why am I so uptight about my towels being folded a certain way? No, fold them differently. Fold them the easier way. Spend
yeah.
less time doing things that, unless it brings you great joy to have all, to walk in open up your towel cupboard and they're all like pristinely folded and things like that. Well, there's joy in that too. So I'm not saying don't try. What I'm just saying is let go of the things that don't serve you. And when you're doing something that's menial or you don't really care about, is make it, be present and enjoy it. Love it. Love what you do. Even if it's washing dishes, even if it's cleaning the floors, love it. And it changes your
Mhm.
life. I'm sorry. Did I actually
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
your
you
question?
did. You did. And it
Okay.
sounds like you're saying don't do stuff that you think you have to do. Just do the stuff you like to do and pay attention to what you're doing. And if you like it, that's good. And if, pay attention to your surroundings and the people you hang out with and how you feel about everything. And that'll shine some awareness on some of the questions that you ask and answer about your own energy. But I guess the last question I have for you before we move into I'm going to recap all the ways that you can get a hold of Victor and join in on his meditation, either as a node or as just an attendee, whatever you decide is best for you, and kind of get involved in the powerful meditations that he offers in just a moment. But Victor, I just want to ask you this question, and if I've already asked you this and you've already answered it, um, we can move on to the next one. But why do you think this energy work is so important for
Uh,
humanity, like for you, for each individual?
okay. This goes back to one candle can light a thousand. So I love being a beacon. All right. I love it. I love love. I love to push. I love to help people. I love to lift them up. And this is opening your eyes. So once you become basically, it's important because it changes your life. Because what you're doing is utilizing this energy around you instead of being subjected. It comes right back to the whole purpose of it. You're utilizing the energies around you instead of being subjected to it. Are you tired of being tired? There's an easy one right there. If you're tired of being tired, like I said, before I work out in the gym, I pull some of this ether energy. I just pull it and let it infuse all through me. I make that my intention. And guess what? Now I've got enough to keep going. I've got enough to get through my workout. Oh, I don't feel like doing the laundry. Let's pull some ether energy. And that way, the only excuse, you don't have a physical excuse. Your only one would be mental. And then you have some other tools there. So I think it's important on so many levels because as you start, even when it comes to driving, you start staying in these states of being aware of the energy around you, then you have the ability to control it. That's just the thing because you are in charge of your reaction to any given situation. And this energy right now is all around me right now. And this has a lot of positive intention. Just by us talking about it, we're putting all this positive intention out here. And well, I can feel it big time in my hands. And uh, I was going to say something else. Also, outside of just not feeling tired or being tired anymore, you'll come out of it energized. Well, I just said that, but you're also building positivity. You're raising the vibration of the planet. Because if your vibration and everyone listening to my voice right now, you raise your vibration right now. If there's 6,000 people listening to us, that's 6,000 people that didn't have their vibration at a higher level 5 minutes ago. You see, and that makes a difference because this vibration goes everywhere. Energy is real, my friends. And if you're pushing out love and peace and joy, good thing. Set yourself a loving intention before you go into Walmart. Walmart's a very interesting experience because there's all types of energies in there. We all know that. And get a cart, whatever you need to do, and keep your positive, loving energy going. And you will see people come up and talk to you and smile at you. And you'll also see people coming down the aisle and they will avoid you because they're not at a place where they can deal with that energy right now, or they don't want to. Some people are happy in their unhappiness or happy in their funk. And some people, it's unfortunate, but some people will stay in vibe their entire life. And it's not, it's just, they may never realize that they're not enlightened.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and that's okay because we're all on different journeys and different experiences, but we do know that many other people are waking up. And I like that you said, you love to be a beacon because you're lighting that candle for someone else and then they can turn and light the candle for someone else. So it is, I love your, one truth wave. It's an amazing name and an amazing way to put it because we are lighting each other up. We are a collective, the human, you
We are.
know, we are one, all of us together. So I love that. Why not do our best to light everybody up, lift everybody up? By doing that, we lift a part of ourselves up. So you benefit
And we
your
do.
life. Yeah, you benefit your life by focusing your own awareness on your own energy and allowing in whatever way necessary to enhance your energy and make choices and use your free will and all those things. So, Victor, is there anything else that you want to say in closing before I kind of finalize us and just wrap it up?
Certainly. In closing, I would like to say, if you're on the path, if you're needing something, is become a seeker. Be a seeker. I'm still a seeker. I am always absorbing, and that's the thing is we're always students. We're always students, even if we obtain a level of self mastery in some area, you will always be a student. It's a jujitsu thing. I'm a jujitsu practitioner, have in the past, and the 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 black belt in there, who's our instructor, will always learn something from the novice. We said this earlier, and I would say keep seeking, find those modalities. If you have to wear a crystal in your bra, to keep to gather negative energy, do that. And I know a lot of people. You probably know people that do that as well, but is keep trying, keep looking until you find those modalities that help you get to that higher state. And mine is one of them. And whether it resonates with you or not, we will see. We will see. I think it will because it's energy that we deal with every day. It's energy that's all around us, and it's there for us to utilize for our higher good.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, Victor. And just thank you for being with me here today, everyone. If you'd like to check out Victor's YouTube channel, it's at the number one, Truth Wave on YouTube. Those are held 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Central Time. He's also on Twitter at One Truth Wave, and I'll go ahead and post his Rumble account here. And then also he's available on Instagram at Love One Evolution. So there's many ways to get a hold of him. I definitely recommend that you jump in on his meditations. I've done one myself, and it was an amazing experience. And it's amazing to feel the energy and the positivity of the collective that joins. So yeah, go ahead and take advantage of that. All of the links are in the caption. So, well, thank you so much, Victor. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I feel like we could sit here and talk about many different things. Um,
We could.
yeah, absolutely. So I really love that you're offering this to society and humanity. And thank you for that because, you know, we all need it. So
My
awesome.
pleasure. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me on, Laura.
Thank you.